The girls opened the Bible to today. Yes. We have got 2 Peter 1:17. False teachers and their destruction. But there are also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachings among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies, often denying the sovereign Lord who bought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Many will follow their depraved conduct and will bring the way of truth into disrepute. In greed, these teachers will exploit you with fabricated stories. Their condemnation has long been hanging over them, and their destruction has not been sleeping. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment, if he did not spare the ancient world when he brought the flood on its ungodly people, but protected Noah, a preacher of righteousness, and 7 others, if he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah by burning them to ashes, and made them an example of what is going to happen to the ungodly, and he rescued Lot, a righteous man, who was distressed by the depraved conduct of the lawless. For the righteous man, living among them day after day, was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds he saw and heard. If this is so, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trials and to hold the unrighteous for punishment on the day of judgment. This is especially true of those who follow the corrupt desire of the flesh and despise authority. Bold and arrogant, they are not afraid to heap abuse on celestial beings. Yet even angels, although they are stronger and more powerful, do not heap abuse on such beings when bringing judgment on them from the Lord. But these people blaspheme in matters they do not understand. They are like unreasoning animals, creatures of instinct, born only to be caught and destroyed, and like animals, they too will perish. They will be paid back with harm for the harm they have done. Their idea of pleasure is to carouse in broad daylight. They are blots and blemishes, reveling in their pleasures while they feast with you. With eyes full of adultery, they never stop sinning. They seduce the unstable. They are experts in greed and an accursed brood. They have left the straight way and wandered off to follow the way of Balaam, son of Bezer, who loved the wages of wickedness. But he was rebuked for his wrongdoing by a donkey, an animal without speech, who spoke with a human voice and restrained the prophet's madness. Wow. That sounds like what we're going through right now. And this is the page that when the dogs flipped to my Bible, this is the page that was opened to. And again, this is what God wanted me to read. Just so I would remember that just let God's will be done, and what happens will happen, and the evildoers, they'll be judged for their evil doing, and they have a higher power that they will be answering to. If not now, on Judgment Day. And I find peace in that. Because they may not have to answer for their sins to the judgment of the world right now, but they will answer to the judgment of God. And they will be put in chains in hell. And that brings me peace. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and always remember, protect your peace. Don't let the judgment and the sins and the vile words and the condemnation you get from others for following your faith and, believing and trusting in the man that God chose to put in our White House back in 2016. Don't let anyone stray you from your path of righteousness. Because no matter what happens, we all know that God has a plan. And we just have to trust in God. But that's where I started.